Like, hi, son. How are you?
How's it going?
Oh, she likes to be pet aggressively. Have fun. Like, just go wild. She actually likes that. They're nice cats. I have a laser pointer too. You can play with that later bit. Just be careful. When that goes off, Jasmine will know. I hit record a while ago, by the way. Just because.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't care.
Oh my god.
No, I can edit that into like a little blooper. Nah. Anyway. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silhouettes at Sunset. We're doing a discussion this time around where I don't have a script, so I'm going to have a lot more uhs than usual. But joining me for this discussion on E3 stuff today is my buddy here. Let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Afrofreak4, and I am ready to talk about all the upcoming stuff at E3 that could or could not be happening. Just these next few weeks cannot go by any faster.
Right? It has been so slow, and I want to get to the new stuff, but nothing is happening right now. This is like watching paint dry, except the paint never dries.
Mm-hmm.
I want the paint to dry. I want the paint to dry, fro.
But for now, we can just try to deal with it by just talking about our thoughts and what we think is going to be shown at this year's E3, which I personally think is gonna be a pretty good one
Right?
from all parties. I mean, like, especially Microsoft, considering that last year, like, they just showed off a car. They like that's the bottom. You can't go very much lower than that.
The Wii music.
I'm talking about last year.
They'll find a way to do Wii music again. It'll be Microsoft music. It'll be Kinect music, and they'll be trying to play like a song from Banjo Kazooie.
You know they've forgotten about Banjo Kazooie.
No, they haven't completely forgotten. They remember enough to tease us with it by saying like, yeah, like maybe we'll make a banjo game. And then they never do it.
All right. Well,
Sounds about right for them.
So let's see. I believe that the first company that's gonna be up is EA.
Yeah. Although I put this one in my notes before them just because this isn't gonna have any particular place for it, because like Sega doesn't have anything for it. But they not long ago they had a thing where they had a panel about Sonic games, and they had Sonic Mania Plus and all that DLC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also had a preview for a Sonic racing game where they only showed us like the silhouette of a logo and the glowing red R.
Yes, I remember seeing that logo. Honestly, I think that Sega will probably just attach themselves onto Nintendo, if I were to guess anything.
That would make sense. But I'm hoping we at least see what the fuck this racing game is.
I think they could have an announcement at E3. It all just
Yeah.
depends on which consoles this is gonna be announced for, and if it's gonna be mainly Switch, then it'll be on Nintendo's. If they have it on all the consoles, then maybe we'll see it at Sony's or even Microsoft's conference.
Yeah. Or it could be one of the mini games that just gets kind of dropped in the middle somewhere. You know, that's what they usually do. Like the year Colors was announced, it wasn't at any conference or show. It was just sort of there. So I feel like that's something they'll probably do. That's why it's the first thing on the notes. It's because it's the only one that doesn't fall in a category.
That's completely fair.
Uh, but as you were saying earlier, EA, like, aside from Anthem, I don't know what else they have this year. Oh, okay, and sports games. Like, but do you know anything of what they might have?
To be completely honest, I heard that I think that they might be like a branch of EA might be making another Star Wars game.
Ah,
As long as it's not Battlefront 2 again, like we don't need another whole fiasco of that. But other than that, I'm not quite sure what else EA could bring, but EA has always been pretty mediocre at their presentations.
Right.
So we'll just have to see if they want to top themselves on how cringy they can be this year.
Freaking, were they the ones that had Pele a few years back? Was that them,
I don't
or was that
remember.
Microsoft? I can't tell you myself. It's just I just remember that so vividly. It's like the Wii Music year. It never completely leaves your mind. Not because it was particularly good or bad. In my case with Pele, it's because I distinctly remember every time that he had to say soccer, I could just see him crying on the inside, and I felt really bad for him having to be there. Uh, but the one thing I know that they have to show us more of most likely is Anthem, and like Anthem is a game I'm interested in, and I'm pretty sure that that's a multi-console thing. If it's Xbox One only, I'm gonna be a little upset because I don't have one of those.
Well, see, the thing about Anthem too is from their trailer last year, it made me completely what's the word? Spectacle? No, no, skeptical. Skeptical's the word. It made me completely skeptical on it because like it portrayed it in a way that normally doesn't happen to like regular people when playing games like that.
Because it felt too scripted.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the
I feel ya.
actors
It's the bad
were
voice chat. Can we stop with the team chat thing? Or if we're gonna do team chat like that, can we at least make it slightly more believable, please? They were trying in their defense at first.
hmm
Though my favorite thing is that this was also on the wake, like this announcement last year was right after Mass Effect Andromeda had come out and everybody was complaining about bad facial animations, and the very first thing on it was just look at the face on this guy and how well it's animated.
That also brings up the question if BioWare is gonna come back from that.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I know that they're the ones working on Anthem directly.
Are they?
Yeah, it's BioWare's game.
Oh, okay.
So that may be a sign that they're not doing that, but they also might be doing something on the side. Like Anthem might be a separate kind of halfway there project, halfway some other group. So I don't know that detail myself. I haven't researched it, so beyond that first like trailer, I don't know. But for me, I honestly look at it and it looks like this nice blend of Iron Man armor and Xenoblade Chronicles X's kind of environments.
Hmm.
And just with that notion alone and what little gameplay of it that looked like interesting to me, I want to try it. But I'm not so sure how it's going to turn out. And I feel like, it's EA that they're probably going to screw it up. The only
That's
things they
fair.
haven't screwed up for me are Mirror's Edge games.
Well, let's see if Mirror's Edge 3 comes out anytime soon.
Please give me a Mirror's Edge 3. I love Catalyst so much. Like, that was the best game for me for 2016 because there just wasn't much going on that year. Like, for me, that it was Hollow Realization and Catalyst was by far the better game between the two. And it was fun the whole way through. Like, it's a solid game. I don't know what. There were people that were saying it was a disappointment. I don't know what disappointed people.
Oh, you know what they say, beauty's in the eye of the beholder and whatnot. It's all a matter of opinion and whether or not you like certain games or certain aspects of certain games, it all depends on the player.
True, true. I think we can both agree on one thing though for E3
Hmm.
or for EA. Too much sports.
Well, I mean, like they do have the market on sports games. I mean,
All right.
like how can you expect anything else?
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not like there isn't a market for them. I'm just not part of that market. So,
But like like regardless, they do count as video games, and there it is likely we will see the new FIFA 2019 or Madden 2019. Or actually, they don't make Madden games anymore.
oh wait, really? What happened to that?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that just like they just like fell off into obscurity.
Huh. Okay. Well, I guess that means on to Microsoft, huh? Like actually focusing on Microsoft. And my notes. They do make Madden still.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
Well, thank you for googling that.
Yes. All right, but yeah, Microsoft would be the next big one.
Like freaking my notes are all sarcastic as fuck for this. Like I had to take notes down on what's going so I would make sure I got the order. And my very first thing on it is what I started with earlier, just the insultingly joke at a banjo or conquer game that they'll never make.
Well, see, the thing that I've noticed that Microsoft is hurting for recently specifically is some good console version exclusives, some good exclusives for Microsoft. Um, like they got Gears of War, which will probably there's a good chance we'll see a Gears of War 5.
Yeah.
And then there's the possibility of Halo 6, but besides those two, I'm not sure what else all they can try to get for exclusives for them, because like yeah, like multiple console games are good, like, but and it's good for those companies, but what really makes or breaks something sometimes is how well good of a first party you have.
Yeah. That's like the reason Nintendo's managed to stay well regarded a lot of times. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just that their exclusives are still really good. It's just that on like previous consoles that didn't always really validate a purchase, and then now they do. They really do. But we'll get to Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Um Something I really want to see, I really want to see Halo 6 first before I get to the other one because 5 ends on a cliffhanger.
I'm sure that 6 will come out and they'll
Yeah.
maybe leave it on another cliffhanger if they want to try to milk the Halo series as long as they can.
Yeah, well, I hope that they stop with that because I think this recent Halo Online stuff has probably shown them that the community doesn't care for them anymore.
Yeah, they're kind of dying off, but like,
Have you
what
heard of
can you
Halo
do?
Online, by the way?
No, I have not actually.
Okay, well, basically there was some backwards like PC port somebody found of Halo 3 that was being made in another country and they essentially just took it and ported it themselves.
Mm.
So they have Halo 3 for PC, and they set it up so that way everybody can play all the multiplayer online. There is no campaign for it, it's just the multiplayer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's available on your computers. Like right now, you could totally go get it. They're trying to shut it down, but they can't for some reason. I don't know the details of it, but they can't get rid of it really. They can slow its distribution, but it has like 10,000 people playing it now, and it's going to keep getting higher as long as there's people talking about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But like the day or at one point a big streamer was playing that and that's how it got a lot more attention and people started to realize it exists and it is really good. I have it on my laptop. I tried it for a bit. My only problem is my computer's not good enough to really play Halo 3.
That's fair. Well, we'll just have to see if Microsoft can jump out of the gate with guns blazing and reminding everyone why they are fighting with Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah. I want to see them do good shit honestly because there's some things they have that I really want to see. You know, like I want to see the Sea of Thieves updates and stuff because that's a game that a lot of people said the same kind of things to say at first with it. It's just like yes, it's a lot or it's very like repetitive and like bare, but it's not like No Man's Sky where it felt like it didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Here it just feels like it's not finished. Like this is a really good beginning and a really good base, but there's content that they need and they've got a roadmap out on what they're doing with it. I'd just love to see like a trailer for the next big update for it and all that. You know, like show us that Sea of Thieves is something worth picking up because I want to try it, but I'm gonna wait till there's enough stuff there for me to really feel like I'm getting something out of that. You know?
Yeah, that's completely fair. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what they have in store for that, and if possibly there could be some more rare things that we see, considering that Rare did state not too long ago that they were willing to lend out their IPs to other developers. So it could be very well we may see a Rare title come out for Xbox One made by some some smaller developers. Like perhaps we may get that new Banjo Kazooie or Conquer game but like made
So it's
well.
not impossible. That's good to know. I didn't know that actually. I haven't paid attention to Microsoft a whole lot.
But
Does it show that I'm a Nintendo fanboy? Does it show? I feel like it
but
shows.
speaking of that, keep that in mind for when we talk about something later.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
But
but next up on
well,
the card. Oh,
before we do that though, I
oh,
just want to
sorry.
say like the last couple things for Microsoft is that like if any of previous years have been any indicator, I honest to God think we're gonna see a couple of reveals there that are not exclusive Xbox games
Oh
because they don't
yeah.
have exclusives, and they're gonna act like they're exclusives, like they did with us with Dragon Ball Fighters last year. Because at first it looked like it's like, fuck, do I have to buy an Xbox for that? I'll buy a fucking Xbox for that. I'm gonna play Dragon Ball Fighters. And no, it was available on everything. And I think it's gonna be I think one of them is gonna be the new Assassin's Creed game because there's talks of another Assassin's Creed right now, and I mean, there's always something, but it seems more and more like they're close to it right now.
But are you sure that it'll be on Microsoft's conference instead of Ubisoft's?
I think it will be revealed there first, like it was the year that Assassin's Creed 3 was revealed. They started at a different conference and it was shown at three separate conferences.
Hmm.
I have a feeling that they might do that, but they also might just be sane and decide not to do things that way. But it's this gut feeling of I feel like they're gonna show it there because more people actually tuned in for Microsoft than they do for Ubisoft.
Well, I honestly think that it might be a little too soon for another Assassin's Creed. I mean, like I know that they went through a point where like they're cranking out one every year, but if you take a note on like for example, Unity and how that went, Microsoft or Ubisoft does best on Assassin's Creed when they take their time to really
To really
create
flesh it out.
something good.
Yeah. Ah, well, I mean, we'll have more for Ubisoft in a bit anyway.
Yeah.
So you're the one that would know for the next one better, though. Bethesda.
Yeah, Bethesda has their conference this year. Um, Last year's conference, uh, it was interesting because their conference last year was basically an animation of the Bethesda land,
I love
where
that, really. I
each
do.
section was different parts, but the only thing they really had going for them was Fallout 4 VR, Doom VR, and
Skyrim
Skyrim on the
VR
Switch.
and Skyrim Switch, yeah.
Yeah, and but this year I think they might have a little bit more going for them. Starting off with the Rage 2, which was accidentally leaked a little bit early.
Yeah, along with a lot of stuff in that Walmart leak. Although I don't remember most of them. The only two that stood out were Rage 2 and Borderlands 3. And Borderlands 3, we've already been told by Gearbox they're not showing it this year. Like, they outright said they're not bringing Borderlands to E3.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, fine.
But yeah,
But
Bethesda will have Rage 2, and also there's a good chance that they'll show off that new IP they've been working on.
oh,
I believe it was called Starfield, which I've read has been it's like Fallout in space, like
ooh,
that has been talked about a lot. So that's definitely something they can talk about. And I am still hopeful that we may one day get that Elder Scrolls 6 and move on past Skyrim.
oh no, you know they can't do that. We have to wait till Elder Scrolls Online gets to Skyrim.
I will sit here and hope and pray that that doesn't happen.
I actually kind of fear that that's what they do too. But I'm with you on hoping for an Elder Scrolls 6. I am interested on this new IP though, whatever Starfield is, because I'm not a Bethesda fan. I'm just not into most of their stuff. The only thing I really kind of like of theirs is Doom. Although I'm interested in Wolfenstein, I just haven't had the time. I haven't had the money.
No, that's understandable. Like Wolfenstein has done pretty well, and there was also they released a game last year called PrE.
I know a friend of mine was talking a lot about that one.
Yeah,
Um,
there's a good chance that since that just came out so recently, they could very well have some new content for that, like perhaps in the form of DLC.
huh. I'm curious what that is. Isn't PrE kind of like a Metroidvania? Um,
I can't really remember. I never really played it myself, to be completely honest with you.
See, I'm starting to think maybe I should have invited Zed to all this just to have one more input source on that. uh, but like, I've never really. I don't even know. I didn't know that there was a Rage 1. So like, knowing Rage 2 is coming and that is interesting. Rage 2 was officially announced. That's not a leak thing only.
Hmm.
In fact, Bethesda, the day that that leak happened, had a really angry blog post about this whole thing and this whole leak and the way leaks are. And
Uh-oh.
then, like, another couple days later, they just announced Rage 2. And I'm just like, oh, wow. You were angry because you were planning to do that anyway, and somebody fucked it up a couple days early. Oh, my.
Well, I'm sure we'll get more details on it regardless.
Yeah. I remember hearing at one point that apparently the guys that do Doom and Wolfenstein actually try to alternate on developing those. So we might be looking at another Doom coming too. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know if that would be a reveal for now or way later, because these things do take some time. I kind of hope it's now, but I can hope for a lot of things.
Well, whatever they come out with, let's hope it's just we get some new blood into this.
Yeah, I hope that they do better than last year, because I like the way they were presenting everything. It's just that what they had wasn't anything new, except for Evil Within. And did they have any info
Well,
on Prey there? Because I thought Evil Within 2 was revealed that year.
I think Evil Within 2 was revealed that year.
And I think that was the only thing I remember of substance that they really had, was just that that was the only new thing. Not that the other things aren't great, it's just that they're the same games,
Oh, uh,
you know?
but they did have one thing new, which has gone on in infamy. The Bethesda Creation Club.
Oh, yeah, paid mods.
Yes. So if like maybe after a year of reflecting and looking at everyone's responses, uh, maybe they'll have something nice to show us this year.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Um, So we had Square or Devolver Digital, isn't? I think they're right before that, aren't they? For
Well, I'm not sure exactly if
uh,
Digital is going to be on the main conference. They might have their own little side thing like they did last year, but I'm sure we're going to get another a great thing from that.
yeah, they actually they said recently that they really recommend that everybody go rewatch their older conferences because they're calling it the Devolver Digital Conference Cinematic Universe DDCCU,
Yeah, okay,
and
yeah.
I'm just like
You gotta
this.
cash in on all the
Uh,
different friggin' franchises all coming into one.
Yeah, they're just a big joke. They're the laughing stock of E3, but they want to be the laughing stock of E3. So I'm okay with that. I don't know anything of theirs other than Enter the Gungeon, Hotline Miami.
They also
Um,
made Broforce.
they made Broforce, really?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, that game is ridiculous. Well, I'm looking forward to that just because I want a good laugh, especially because like after whatever comes out of Microsoft and Bethesda, which are going to be all very serious things, I'm gonna need something funny. Funny like well, like Kingdom Hearts' release date. I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Square's next.
Yeah, surprisingly Square has their own time this year.
They,
They didn't
yeah,
have anything last year.
didn't
So
they?
it'll nope.
No, it was the year before that they did. Well, the year they announced Near that they had their own conference, and the next year they said no.
So it'll be nice to see them back, especially now that they actually have multiple things that they're working on that we will have uh we will be able to take a look at. Of course, there's Kingdom Hearts 3, which they've been doing, after years and years of build up, they're finally having a good amount of information come out about that. So we'll probably just get a few
Right.
more details.
Well, like a lot of people are really heavy on this thought that that's not coming out this year because they're just like, nah, man, this is Square. They say that, and they kept saying it, and then Final Fantasy 15 came out 10 years later, you know. But I actually sincerely believe them right now that Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming this year. And you know what, like, really nails that to me is they had this preview event going on. Like, it was either last week or it's still going. I'm not sure which right now. And they have the English voice acting done. Like, they don't even touch the English voices until the game's ready to be localized. So I I feel like it's almost done. Like that this game is really finally coming out and it looks great. It looks like it plays great. I honestly can't wait. I'm hyped.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big contender for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Other things that they're working on, we've heard about their Avengers thing that they're gonna do.
Yeah, how much have you heard about that one?
I actually haven't heard much. I've only heard the name.
Okay, well, I was told about this a little while ago from from the Monster Hunter YouTuber I follow. Weirdly enough, he wanted to talk about it because he really was interested as well. It's apparently it's going to be another MMO light kind of game, kind of like the Division and Destiny, Monster Hunter World. You know, these kinds of games, they're very MMO like in structure, but they're not quite an MMO, and you can beat them in, like, say, 60 hours. You can sink your time through it. But the truth is that it's a never ending game, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Uh huh.
And supposedly the other, like, hero types are your classes. That you
Hmm.
have a tech focused one that's based on the Iron Man stuff, Viking type warriors like Thor, um, etc., etc. And, like, I'm really interested just to see where that goes. And also that I'm totally playing Iron Man, and I hope somebody else will play my Spider Man with me, and we could just have some fun. But it's something like that from what I gather, and I want to see more info coming out on this. It's being done by Crystal Dynamics. I don't really know what else Crystal Dynamics has done. I'm the guy that honestly I don't like much of what Square Enix does beyond Kingdom Hearts. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of this.
Mm.
So don't worry, everybody. I am getting into Square slowly. It's just that I don't like Final Fantasy.
Well, they
I
do
might get
have some
lynched.
other things that they could very well talk about. Like, they could. This could be the year we see. Let's see, Just Cause 4.
Oh shit, that is Square, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Huh.
Just Cause 3 did all right, but I feel like they could continue it on with a fourth sequel in the series. Let's see what else. They could also, uh, even though I know you don't like Final Fantasy much, I think it's almost time for us to get to a 16.
Is it? I mean, I feel like they only just stopped working on 15 because like that's been getting updates constantly since release. Um, which now it's apparently much more different. And I actually kind of want to go back to play it, but I don't own it. I borrowed it, so I'll have to buy it myself. I've been waiting on the Switch port. Oh wait, there we go. That's something we might hear about 15 Switch port too. But would it be time for a 16? Is there Are they split up into like an A team and a B team on these? Because if they are, that makes sense.
I don't know exactly, but I think that it would be. It wouldn't surprise me if we did see it at that point. And also, I don't think I I think they're gonna avoid the 7 remake. I think they don't want to talk about it.
Right? Like, I think right now they're worried anyway because they're trying to remake a game that everybody really loves. And, like, I feel like it's the same kind of fear that would come out of announcing that you're working on a Super Metroid remake. Like, everybody's going to hate you if this isn't exactly like it. But at that point, why am I remaking this game?
See,
You know?
that's a problem with a lot of hardcore fan bases, is that they want things to be exactly either the way that they remember them or exactly what they would expect from a remake. And I just think that everyone should keep at least a little bit more of an open mind and give it a shot. If you don't like it, well then you don't like it, but this could be someone else's Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah. Like, it's going to be for me because I actually can't go back to play 7 because I want to. I'm really interested in its world and story, but, like, I don't like action time battle combat. That's the reason I'm not into most Final Fantasy games, really. That ATB meter just kills it for me. It's the only reason I haven't played any more than like 30 minutes of Chrono Trigger. I can't stand it. And it's not because of the anything else about these games. It's the combat. And if that's there, since that's different for this remake, I want to play it. So I want to see it coming sooner, but I also don't think that we're anywhere close.
Mm,
Like this feels way too soon if they're gonna have some more info. I just kind of hope that they acknowledge that it's going to be a while for everybody.
yeah.
Something along the lines of release window 2023, and just everybody can be mad about it for a week, and then we'll just accept, nah, that the reality was this was going to be a while.
Mm.
One thing I'm thinking of is a couple of years ago when they had their conference on their own the first time, they announced the Tokyo RPG Factory's existence. And
Really?
these are the guys that did I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to have another game like one of those popping up. Like Lost Sphere came out like a couple months ago, didn't it?
I believe so. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, see, I was going to pick it up and then I forgot about it. I think something else came out around the same time that I was way more interested in. But like I think we're gonna hear something else from Tokyo RPG Factory. What I really want to hear something about is another game in the Bravely Default series.
That would be interesting to see, but I don't think it's coming quite yet just because there are a lot of other things that they do have possibly coming that I think they'd rather talk about, such as Dragon Quest 11
Oh yeah.
and Shadows of the Tomb Raider.
Speaking of Dragon Quest, though, you think we're ever gonna get Dragon Quest Heroes 2 localized? No, wait, not 2. The Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 bundle on Switch localized?
It could happen. I don't know though.
Because I really want to play Heroes 2, but I don't want to buy it on PS4. I want to buy it for my Switch because I like to buy games on the Switch.
That's completely fair.
It's nice to have portable.
Hmm.
Um, that said, I'd love to see more about Dragon Quest 11 because I really do want to pick that one up as well. Um, did they confirm that the Switch version was coming into the West, or
I
was that only for the PS4
I don't think
confirmation?
they've confirmed it yet for the Switch, but given that the Switch did get some earlier Dragon Quest, I think it could be very well likely that we will see it on the Switch. Maybe even a confirmation from the C3.
True. Speaking of all that, though, while we're still on Dragon Quest for a second, Dragon Quest Builders 2 was something that they said was in development a while ago, but we
Really?
haven't seen anything about. At least that's what I remember being told. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't worry, the YouTube comments section will definitely correct me if I'm wrong. But I remember hearing something about a Dragon Quest Builders 2 actually being in development, and I would love to see it. I love the demo for Builders. I just haven't had the cash free to pick it up. So as soon as I can, I plan to. But it honestly, I would love to see where they decide to go with Builders and how they change things up between the first and the second.
Yeah, it would definitely be interesting to see something a little bit different from that.
Yeah. Oh, but while I think about it, I think we'll see more Rise of the Tomb Raider, but I don't think we'll see it first at Square this year.
Really, where are you expecting it?
Microsoft. Because every time that this game or that Tomb Raider comes around, it's a timed exclusive with them.
Really, I've never noticed that.
Yeah, they had it for a while. They had the last one. Wait, wasn't what was the one before
I, f-
called? The second one, or was that Rise?
I
And
feel
I
like
think
that one was Rise because the next one is Shadows.
fucking Shadows. We'll see Shadow of the Tomb Raider this year. I'm convinced we'll see it with Microsoft first. I'm pretty sure it's already given. They've already given info on it, as showing up as a timed exclusive for Microsoft. So while I think Sony or Square will talk about it, I don't think it's coming. I don't think it'll be the first place we see it.
All right.
But I don't think we have anything else for Square, do we?
No. I think that covers all that part.
Now for bah!
That's Rabbit for Ubisoft.
Thank you. I didn't have subtitles there. I should put subtitles this time.
But yeah, Ubisoft. I think last year they had a very nice conference. I mean,
Right.
like
I
they got
actually
down to
liked that
it,
one.
and like they showed their games. Though like they did their Just Dance like they always do, which is
Yeah, that's the free space on the bingo card for them every year. Speaking of, I really do need to print E3 bingo cards this year.
oh
Like
yeah,
that's
that's always a fun thing to do.
because I wanted to print them last year, but I didn't. This year I'm probably just gonna I'm either gonna print them out or I'm just gonna like draw it onto my whiteboard and just put chips down.
That'll be something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, but we're bound to see another Just Dance. I kind of hope we don't have another celebrity appearance, but we're gonna have a celebrity appearance. Can we have Aisha Tyler back? I miss Aisha Tyler. Okay.
But Ubisoft has several things that they're likely to talk about.
Right.
Like there's that Skull and Bones game, that pirate game they've been working on. Uh, it looked pretty nice, like a little bit more realistic and whatnot as compared to Sea of Thieves.
Yeah. Well, it looks to me like it runs on the engine from Assassin's Creed 4's ship battles.
I could see that.
Yeah, that's what it looked like when I was watching it anyway. It seriously seems exactly like it, and that's totally fine with me because the ship battles in Assassin's Creed 4 are some of the best parts of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I want to try it out. I want to see more about Skull and Bones. I'd love to know more. I kind of want them to expand more on what we saw last time.
Yeah.
Though they did show us a good amount last time. Just show us some more. Give us a release date.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. And besides that, there's also the Division 2.
Oh
They're
yeah.
yeah, they are ready for that.
I remember I played like 5 minutes of Division 1 because Zed begged me. And like we were gonna try like co-oping it a bit. I can't get down with its mechanical like control for some reason. That was the reason I stopped. Though I've earned a single trophy, and as a result, I can't delete it off my trophy list. It's gonna drive me nuts forever. All I did was walk into a car door, and it closed the door, and I got a trophy, and that's it. I didn't get a trophy for doing anything else in that game. That
And
is
now
my
you're
one
stuck with
trophy.
it.
But I can never live down that I closed a door in the division. What a scary time.
Hmm.
But I do kind of hope for Division 2 to be some big improvements from the first one. Not that I didn't like what I did play of the first one. It just wasn't for me. But
Understandable.
one thing I love about the Division is just that it recreates New York in such terrifying detail. Like there's a lot of work and thought put into every location in that. They
Yeah,
did a really good
Ubisoft
job.
does environments very well. I've noticed, as like with Assassin's Creed Origins and the Division, as you mentioned,
Hmm.
they do really well in their environments and the effects that certain things have.
Yeah, and I want to see what they have for Division 2. I haven't checked up on anything with it though. So this one I might pay attention to so that way when it comes out I might pick it up. Like I'm actually pretty interested this time.
Mm.
There's also Beyond Good and Evil 2, which I want to play the first one. Actually, you know what? I think I have it on PlayStation Plus. I should probably boot my PS3 up sometime and check.
Do you think we might get actual gameplay this year?
I really want gameplay, but I'm gonna give them the rule of Square Enix, where I think we'll see another CG trailer, or we'll see gameplay that looks like CG, but it turns out it was actually CG the whole time, and it was just CG to look like gameplay, like the first reveal for Kingdom Hearts 3. Like I think that they would actually do that, just to kind of hide how long that they'll be working on it. But that's because I think now they're trying to upgrade it so far to be so much more modern than the first one was. Um, like, well, not. Blah. I swear I make sense in my head. But to be more of a modern game now with all the big, highly detailed environments, which is probably not important for Beyond Good and Evil.
4K 1080p HD.
Oh yeah, you gotta see that monkey in 4K. All right, all of it, including the dingleberries, all of it.
Oh my god.
It has to gross us out exactly enough, like just that big pig dude in the first trailer. It just can I just say that the thing about Beyond Good and Evil 2's first trailer, my only real problem with it was I wanted to strangle the monkey by the end. Like the chimp was driving me nuts.
That's fair.
Not that it doesn't look like an interesting time anyway. And I since I haven't played the first one yet, I really do need to go play it because I hear such good things about Beyond Good and Evil. But I never got around to it myself.
There's also the possibility of a new Splinter Cell, which I've heard more and more about lately.
Okay, I only heard like the brief mention of it from somebody, so I wasn't sure. What are you hearing? What have we heard?
Well, there's gonna be a new Splinter Cell, and they're even
don't say.
getting they're even getting the old voice actor back to play
Sam?
yeah, Sam Fisher.
Well, oh wait, was it not the same one the last time around, or?
Yeah, I think they replaced him in the last one, and then they just got him back.
Oh, so Snake wasn't the only one.
Oh,
No, that little tribute. Did you see that?
yeah,
Oh,
I did.
that almost
so
made me
sad.
cry, and I don't even like Metal Gear Solid.
I'm the only one left.
Like, oh, that hurts so much.
Yeah.
So I think that they're gonna do another Rabbids game, though.
Really?
It's just this nagging thing in the back of my mind because of the success of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and that Ubisoft is totally the type of company that would jump straight on something like that the moment that they started to get some attention again.
But they are still also cranking out content for the said Rabbids and Mario Battle Kingdom.
True. We're gonna hear more about that at Nintendo stuff, I'm sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got a new Rayman platformer.
Ooh. I actually would love that. I finally played through Rayman Legends a while ago. I played through it on Xbox One, by the way. I know it's up on my PS4 right now, but I actually did the playthrough on that on Xbox and had a lot of fun with that. I didn't think that I would like it nearly as much as I did, but it filled my Donkey Kong Country craving.
It's really good at what it does, but as much as I would like to see a new Rayman platformer, I wouldn't mind seeing like a new Rayman Arena, if you remember that.
I don't, but that's because I wasn't into Rayman. What's Rayman Arena?
Arena was a pretty fun game. It was on I believe the PlayStation 1 and the GameCube, or the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. Basically, they brought it to the GameCube, and it was basically a Rayman spin-off title where you could do different things such as race and battle and stuff in a 3D environment. It was really fun. Like I used to play with that all the time when I was a kid, and yeah, it's just been a while.
You hope
since
it comes back
like
I hope Kirby Air Ride comes back.
Yeah, but if they did bring back something like that, it would probably be Rabbids based, because that was pre-Rabbids, is how old that was.
True. I actually could see that still being something I'd pick up, though, even if it was Rabbids based.
Oh yeah,
'Cause,
like I don't mind Rabbids so much. Like people say that Rabbids are just cheap minions, but keep in mind that Rabbids came well before the minions were even thought up.
and also that Rabbids. The only problem I had with the Rabbids was just that they showed up so damn much. Like, it's the same thing with the minions. Like, they were fine the first time, you know? All of these things tend to be that way. They're fine the first time, and then they just keep coming back. And no matter how long I hold that pillow over their face, they don't seem to run out of air. So I just keep hearing a muffled the whole time, and I'm just stuck with it. And just has haunted my mind ever since. No, but legitimately, after playing Mario Rabbids, I actually grew to really like the Rabbids for that. Like, they're a lot more enjoyable than I thought they would be from just the trailers and stuff. The trailers for those games made them seem so much more obnoxious. I'm sure the games are like that too, but
I've played several of the Rabbids games, and I'd say they're pretty enjoyable, at least to me. Like the Raving Rabbids party games are a good time with family, and then Rabbids Through Time was all right, and Rabbids Return Home was actually pretty enjoyable to me, at least. Ooh, excuse me.
Out of curiosity, is the Rabbids Return Home, like, does that game end with them getting into the time traveling washing machine, and then that they just that's just where it stops, and then they appear in the Mario and Rabbids story, so technically they didn't go home?
Well,
Is that how that goes?
To be completely fair, I never fully finished it.
Does anyone really?
I'm sure there are others.
I really do think I need to go pick those up just to experience this piece of like trolley gaming history. uh, well, aside from the Assassin's Creed stuff we kind of already said at Microsoft, then I guess we're good there. So Sony time.
All right. Now, what's interesting about Sony is recently, I don't know if you've seen this yourself, but recently, the head of Sony, or one of the heads of Sony, stated that Sony is entering the last of its life cycle. This PS4.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Shit,
PS4.
no, Sony is going away.
Not for a while. No, but the PS4 is entering the last of its life cycle, which, hearing that now, it makes sense with the plans that they announced, because what they officially announced for the E3 is that they were going to talk about 4 games.
Wow.
Yes, that being Death Stranding, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima,
I haven't even heard of that one.
and The Last of Us Part 2. They said
Okay.
they are those are the games that they will talk about. I don't know. Not sure if they said those are the only games they were going to talk about, but those 4 will be getting like top card.
Spotlights. All right. Well, Spider-Man comes out like I think a month after. No, wait, it comes out like August 8th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometime early August. So this will probably be like the last big showing of Spider-Man stuff where they're almost done, the big trailer, the most important stuff.
Yeah, of course.
That's my like most anticipated game coming other than Smash Brothers this year. So I look forward to that pretty greatly.
Mm-hmm. It definitely looks like a lot of fun.
But I didn't see that they had said for sure that they're doing announcements for or not announcements, info for Last of Us 2.
Oh yeah,
And
that's one of the big ones. Like, they're finally ready to talk about it.
like this is taking a long ass time.
Yeah.
But then again, like I remember Last of Us the first time around and just how stunningly detailed that is,
And that was
like,
a PS3 game.
right? So like seeing now where they have the ability to do even more detail, I'm sure that team was just like, I hate whoever decided we're working on this. But, they're doing it.
Yes.
So,
But there's also the chance that we'll see something from associated parties of Sony, such as From Software, and
that's right.
they
That Shadows Die Twice thing.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's probably gonna be Bloodborne 2.
A lot of people think that. I actually have Zed was telling me he had a different theory. Let me pull up what that was real quick in my little Discord chat section here. Come on, tell me what it was. He actually had like a name for it. What was it? Sorry, I had to scroll.
This video is brought to you by Discord.
Tenchu. From Software also owns Tenchu now.
Really?
Yeah, and they haven't licensed Bloodborne for yet, but they licensed Tenchu again 3 years ago. And that trailer that we got last time didn't specify what it is, and apparently a lot of people are sticking to Bloodborne 2, and I mean, I don't doubt it, but it's also entirely possible that that same trailer could have been for Tenchu instead. And I'm curious to see which way it goes. I actually kind of want to see it be Tenchu, but I would believe Bloodborne a little bit more.
Understandable.
Because I don't know anything about Tenchu, is the other problem. See, now I feel like I really should have picked up Zed for this whole thing. I'll probably just have a discussion with him later for it then.
That's fine.
Freaking, that'll be interesting to see them and like show something for. I kind of hope that gets shown on Sony's stage, but it's possible that Sony really does stick to only these 4. So, Oh god, though, Death Stranding. That's right.
Yes, also known online as Eat Sand
Eat Sand.
and Norman Reedus' fetus.
Roman fetus. Yes. That's very important to remember. I actually really, like, I genuinely look forward to whatever weird ass trailer we're gonna have next, just because it's so fucking weird.
I'm sure it'll be great because like you got Kojima, you got Guillermo del Toro, and you got Norman Reedus. I
Right?
mean, like this is what PT could have been.
I actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, this is probably the result of what, like, one of the alternate ideas they had for PT, and that's why it's so fucking weird. And that explains the baby. That explains the fetus a little. Because that was a thing in PT, wasn't it? Like,
Yes, there was a fetus in the sink, but it was
yes.
a little less developed than this one.
That's fair. There's also Days Gone. I'm convinced we're gonna see another thing for Days Gone with no release date. Like, I'm convinced that it's gonna show up every year for the next 5 years, but it's not gonna come out. Like, I'm just that convinced that Days Gone is gonna be Duke Nukem forever. Because every time I see this game, it looks like it's already done. Like it should have come out yesterday. And I'm not interested in it. I just think it's already done. Like it looks complete. What are we still doing?
I
It
couldn't tell you at this point.
Then again, it also looks like a game from 2012, and maybe that's my problem. It's just if you asked me what games looked like in 2012, I'd probably, well, it looks like Days Gone, son. But I get the feeling we'll see Days Gone again. I also think that we might get the info for No Man's Sky next here.
Hmm.
Now, if you haven't kept up with No Man's Sky, I don't
Not
blame you
really.
in the slightest because nobody did. But they've been updating it constantly since release, trying to like fix it, make it more like what it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've gotten really far actually. Their most recent update did a lot of nice stuff for it. It's honestly, it is actually a good game now, which is really weird. Like it's not a great game and it's not for everybody,
Of
but it,
course.
it plays good. It's fun, which is just the most bizarre thing. And No Man's Sky Next is apparently their next big patch update project potential DLC thing that they're doing, and they're being really secretive about it. But they're also
Interesting.
describing it as something that's going to have a lot of changes, a lot of big stuff happening. And at that point, I'm thinking, I mean, No Man's Sky 2 is interesting then. But like, I'm looking forward to whatever they have to say on it because maybe we're finally gonna get No Man's Sky the way that we wanted it to be when they showed it to us. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I have heard several things about the upgrades that have been made, and maybe this will be our chance to live out that space adventure we were promised.
Right. Honestly, just look at Starbound, look back at No Man's Sky. Now look at Starbound, and look back at No Man's Sky. All you have to do is make No Man's Sky more like Starbound, and boom, you're good. Make it 3D Starbound. That's all I ask. Minecraft in space. Let's do it. Speaking of Minecraft in space, now. Oh, actually, no. You know what? Speaking of Minecraft in space, somehow, I have in my notes for another thing. I didn't know that they were focusing on 4 games, so I just put down Destiny 358 Planets over $60 DLC, the musical. I like to make fun of Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over Two's title as much as I possibly can.
No, that's all right. I'm sure. I'm like if they have other things like Destiny, then I wouldn't be surprised because of course there's other publishers and whatnot that want to talk about their stuff, but but you know what the main focus is gonna be on.
Yeah. And I actually think that that's a good choice for them, actually, to focus on those 4. And I would like to see a lot of info on those 4, especially that one that I've been completely skipping because I don't even remember its name. What the fuck was it?
What
The Queens of whatever?
Queens of whatever.
Um, Freaking notes.
The Ghost of
Ghost of Tsushima. I registered Queen of Tsushima. So, Queen of Sahasrara sounds like a great game that I'm going to enjoy. But
Yeah.
Ghosts of Tsushima, I don't even know what that is.
Neither do I, honestly.
Well, it's good to know where our allegiances lie. Like, we mostly we mostly wanted to do this to talk about Nintendo, and we're finally at Nintendo.
The big end.
This is the one we actually like. We're big fans of.
Now their
So,
conference last year was great.
They did a good job.
Like even from an outside standpoint, I would say that Nintendo did a really good job at showing exactly what they're gonna have and just like building up hype for almost everything that they showed.
Right? And my only real like disappointment out of all of that was that so many things that they showed there were things that we don't have any other info on. Like that there are no release dates, we didn't know that they were coming soon or something, and we've gone a whole year without knowing. But that's standard E3. So it's not like I can really complain. They're just playing it by the normal rules today.
So
You know?
what are we expecting from the big end
All right. Well,
this
with
time around?
Nintendo, let's get the ones that we know are coming already or out of the way, and that I'm sure we're gonna finally get something substantial on Yoshi. I think we're gonna get like a name for it this time. Whether we get a release date or just a coming soon 2028, I don't know. No, wait, hold up, that's Kingdom Hearts. Whether we get that or not, I don't know, but we're gonna get something about it.
Well, they did say that it was gonna come out this year, and with the Nintendo Switch's release schedule, they have not let us down yet.
Right? Not a single thing has been delayed for that was officially a Nintendo thing. The only games that I can think of that were delayed off the top of my head aren't Nintendo directly. It's like Dark Souls from Switch got delayed,
Yeah.
and it only got delayed on Switch because it came out today, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's out for everything else. So if anybody here really wanted to pick up Dark Souls Remastered on PS4 or PC, that's a thing you can do. But I'm hoping on Yoshi coming out. Either that or it's going to get pushed because Miyamoto looked at Yoshi and thought that he looked too much like Birdo. So it's just like, nope. Now we're going to turn it into Birdo's Woolly World coming in 2021.
Do you think we're gonna get anything new on Metroid? Maybe some gameplay?
I actually think we'll get a trailer with no gameplay this time.
Okay, like an official trailer though, instead
Yeah.
of the big logo that made like half the gaming community just like
Lose our goddamn minds like Smashes did later on.
yes, exactly.
Friggin' I just want to note for everybody, the only reason we're not getting to Smash yet is because we're holding off. We're gonna talk regular Nintendo first.
We'll get there, trust me.
But we know that Yoshi's gonna get some time in the sun. We're pretty sure we're gonna finally hear something on that Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
Like we need something because we know it's being developed. We're probably going to hear Pokemon, especially with all the stuff going on with that most recent leak.
Yeah.
Because there's just no way that they've been doing all of this work behind the scenes, and like the websites was the big one that made me think, oh fuck, this is real, isn't it?
I honestly believe that what the Game Freak and the Pokemon Company like to do is they like to announce things on their own schedule, sort of. So I think we could even get get an official confirmation before E3, like even by the end of this month, and then they'll use E3 to talk a little bit more about it. Perhaps show maybe some like legendaries if it's a new region or if it is going to be a remake like the leaks have said, then they could show off some graphics and gameplay and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last year that's what they did too, right? Didn't they have a Pokemon Direct like a week before E3
Oh,
to show off Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and
yeah, basically they had their own thing for that, but and then for actual E3 they showed a little bit of Pokken, the DX version, and then they made the announcement for the Switch core title.
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing what we're doing this time. I hope that we see something for Pokemon, because I want to pick up Pokemon on my Switch. Because I still haven't finished Ultra Sun. Because honestly, like it's not that I don't want to play it. It's that I want to play my Switch so bad. Like
No,
it's that system that for
Yeah.
some reason it has this pull to it, and it still has it even though I've had it for a year
That's fair. Yeah.
or almost a year. Like, goddamn, like it's it's amazing how it's doing that.
Now,
But
besides the games that we've heard Nintendo talk about themselves, at least, uh, do you think we're gonna get any surprises that we don't know about?
I do. I really do, actually. They're the first couple of things in the notes, after all. I I think that they're going to talk about Mother 3 this time, but I have a different theory as to what's going on with it. Because, like, every time that we hear something from any random leaker about Mother 3, they talk about how apparently it's all done in translation stuff. It's just not able to be released for some legal reasons. And I think what happened there isn't just that they're not able to bring it over for legal reasons. I don't think that that's what's going on. I think they're remaking it. Like, I think they're actually doing a whole remake.
Really?
And
That's
this is my
interesting.
crazy like theory, just outside the fucking box. Like, nah, this has no ground. I'm sitting here floating in space with this one, just like Mother 3 remake is totally happening. But um, I think that they're remaking it, and it would show why they've mentioned it in passing every once in a while. You know, that they're not afraid to talk about it. They just don't have anything to say about it.
Mm,
It would be the reason why, if they're doing a full remake and they're going to reveal it in a year where we would otherwise be in a bit of a lull, you know? Because aside from Smash, Prime 4, and Pokemon, they don't have much else going on this year
mm-hmm.
that we know of. All the other stuff is the small time, the B team for
Yeah.
Nintendo games. So, like, to see the thought that maybe they're going to do something crazy, that's where Mother 3 comes into my mind. Like, this is the year that they could do it, but we say that every year.
Yeah.
But out of every single year prior, I think this is the year that I would believe them if they said they were thinking about it, you know?
Yeah, that's fair enough. Uh, I also think besides that, I think this could be very well the year that we get our Animal Crossing for Switch,
I hope
because we've
so.
been we've been wanting that for a long time. Ever since New Leaf did very well in the 3DS, so I believe a Switch version would just be almost perfect.
I mean, we all want it. Like, I'm not even an Animal Crossing fan. I want that for the Animal Crossing fans because it's like, this is the best system for it. Come on. But we say that about everything.
Hmm.
That said, I love how in our notes we both have two opposite things of just you're like Animal Crossing, like yeah, that could happen, and mine is Animal Crossing fans sit in a corner with a penny, a paperclip, and a tissue as their only friends. My notes are so sarcastic, but I hope for Animal Crossing. I'm not sure what, or I'm not sure what we'll gain. I think we might only get kind of an announcement and a touch of gameplay like with Yoshi.
Hmm.
That it's just Animal Crossing, and they move on.
I'd be happy with just that.
I'd like to know it's coming, you know? That's all.
Also, do you think that we'll ever get Pikmin 4? Because that has been ready for a few years now.
Has it?
Yes, I think it was Miyamoto that was like the game is pretty much done, and that was back on the Wii U.
That's probably the reason why we haven't seen it till or yet. But like thinking about it, it's just if it was almost done, who knows? I look forward to the thought. I want Pikmin 4.
Hmm.
Not as a Pikmin fan. Again, just like with Animal Crossing, I want it because I think people deserve some new stuff. Um, but also because I want to see them expand on what they did with Pikmin 3. But honestly, what's more likely to me is a port of Pikmin 3. I know I
Really?
say that and people are just like, "Oh fuck." But I think that's actually very possible this time. And it's just because we've been seeing all the other big Wii U games get ported, and Pikmin 3 is that one Wii U game that unless you're a hardcore Pikmin fan, you probably don't even remember for sure that that was a big game on the Wii U, you know? Because it
Mm,
was one of the early ones.
yeah.
And I feel like that they're thinking about it. Like I feel like that has to be something on somebody's mind, and that's probably the reason we haven't seen 4 yet. They're wanting to port 3 so that way people played 3 so that way what they do with 4 following up on things that happened in 3 would be consistent, you know? so that people would have had a chance to try the previous entry before going up to the next stuff.
Well, speaking of ports, then I think there could be a good chance that we could get a remastered Metroid Prime trilogy for the Switch to keep the hype going until 4 comes out, which I feel like is not going to be till probably end of 2019.
Yeah, right around that time that Kingdom Hearts 3 will actually come out. I feel you. Nah, legitimately though, I think that that's actually possible. I hope, because I really want to play Metroid Prime 1 like on a modern system,
Hmm.
but that's just because I would love to be able to play Prime Portable.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty fun.
And I also think that if we could add in the tweaks that they added to the control for Prime from Federation Force, that we could do some cool stuff.
Hmm.
Because one of the tweaks in that is you have gyro aim,
Yeah.
and oh my god, it's so good. I love gyro aim on everything. Like the reason I want to get the Switch port of Doom is because of gyro aim.
that,
So
that's fair.
ah, drinks. But like I hope to see, like I want to see those games come out, but it would also mean that finally Prime 3 would be playable with an analog stick. You know, like it would be
Yeah.
playable like a traditional fucking Prime game. That's all I want. I don't really like the pointer aim, which is weird from me because you would think that I'm all for that, but
Yeah.
I want to see that. That is like my dream port to be announced for Switch this year, but I don't think that we're gonna get it. It's the weird thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't there, but that would be a very I think that'd be a very good port. It'd be like that would be a good seller, and it would make everyone who's interested in Prime 4 that hasn't actually played the rest to get a chance to get caught up in what's going on in Samus's crazy world.
Just like with the hopes for the Pikmin port,
Hmm.
which is funny because that's the one that I actually kind of came up with half on the spot here. It's why it's not in the notes. um, on little things, I think we're gonna get the announcement for Dark Souls Switch's network test at E3. I
Mm.
don't know if it's gonna be part of the conference. I just think it's gonna pop up because they didn't say how long they're pushing Dark Souls Switch back.
Yeah.
So I feel like they might just put that announcement out, just like, oh yeah, the network test is soon. Oh, okay. Um, but that also brings me to another little tangent that I was gonna save it for Smash, but I think I can put it right here and we can move back to Smash in a bit. I think
Hmm.
they're gonna network test Smash.
Really?
Like it's this thing I've noticed where all of the games that they've been pushing for the Nintendo Versus thing
Hmm.
have been getting those kinds of network tests. That Arms and Splatoon both had free network tests. The very first, the Splatfest one,
Yeah.
the Arms Global Test Punch that keep happening, and Mario Tennis Aces is about to have one too.
Well, that is true, but do you know about the Smash demo thing?
Demo.
Yes. Basically, all the people who are attending E3
Oh,
for
that they get to play
Nintendo,
the
they get a ticket to
yeah,
play
as
it.
long as you registered for it and all that.
Yes.
I know about that. I was just thinking that this is something they'd do later, but I think that the reason I think that they would do this is for the online service, which I didn't think to put that in my notes either, but that's important.
Yeah, I think
That
they'll talk about that a little bit.
right. But I think that they'll do this as a way to show that they're trying with the online to
Hmm.
people, because every time somebody talks about the online service for the Switch, the big thing that I keep hearing is just that they're okay with the idea of paying for the online for Nintendo stuff, but the online needs to be fixed. You
Yeah.
know, that it's not quite there. And I mean, I have great internet and I still run into the problems with it. You know, that in Splatoon, I still see people drop out of my matches, or I myself get dropped out of them. That in Mario Kart, I still see people ping around.
See, that's gonna be the big thing about having this online service is the very fact that now that you're making us pay for it, it very well should be uh, good, like a good service if we're gonna be putting money into it. I mean, if we keep having like terrible servers that make us drop out of games or lag all over the place, then is it really even worth the $20?
Exactly. Like it needs to be fixed, and I keep hearing that from people, and that's one of the reasons I think they'll do this network test thing, is because when they launch the online service, a lot of us think that Smash is coming with it, that they're gonna have Smash come out really close to that,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe it, and because it would be the best game I can think of, like it or Pokemon, if Pokemon has big online functions, it would be the best games to put out with that, and they need it to work perfectly day one
Yes.
in order to pull that off.
Though
And I think that they would network test it to see how many people would really heavily want to play Smash. And Smash is one of the few games where I could promise you the network test would reflect actual sales numbers.
I would give them room for error for at least like the first week or so.
Oh yeah, we all should. I don't expect them to get it all right, but I think if they do the network testing, it'll kind of turn out more like how Dragon Ball Fighters was at first. If you remember that beta
Yeah, I
situation,
remember that.
where nobody could really play it, and the few that did were like, it's really good, but I was having so much trouble, and now it runs smooth as butter. It's perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but it took them a while. And I think that's what's going to happen with Smash for Switch as well. If they do a network test, is they'll see how huge the demand is right up front, so they have the remaining time before the game gets released to work on their servers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Speaking of online play, there could. What do you think of the possibility? There's been rumors going around of a Star Fox racing game, which could very well do
The
online races like Mario Kart does.
the Star Fox Grand Prix thing.
Yes.
The more I at first I kind of winced at the thought, like it didn't quite strike me right. But then, when a little bit more of the leak info was coming out on how it might work, I was a little bit more on board then,
Mm-hmm.
because apparently it's not quite as much like Diddy Kong Racing from what the leaker was saying. It's a little bit more of just a standard Star Fox game, but you're all racing and you can still shoot each other. But when you're shooting the other people, what that does is give you a burst of speed as opposed to slowing your opponent down and
Mm.
stuff like that. And it's like, just hearing about this makes me think this looks, or rather sounds, interesting.
Mm.
And I don't put it past the idea that Retro would be working on it. My thing about it is that if they were working on it, they either started on this like 2 years ago, or they've been working on it while Star Fox Zero was also in development. And I feel like Nintendo wouldn't do that with Star Fox. I feel like they wouldn't divide up their resources like that.
Mm-hmm.
So something about it still doesn't quite strike me as right. So if it's a true thing and I really do get to see it this year, cool. And I'm totally down to buy it because I love Star Fox way too much and there's not enough of these games. Please give me more. Just port Star Fox 2 onto Switch for me. That'll do. I wanted to play it, but you know how hard it is to get an SNES Classic?
Very.
Well,
Well, actually, I'm pretty sure they're bringing it back. I heard.
they are.
Yeah.
They just re-released the NES Classic, I think, or they're about to really
Mm.
soon. I've actually seen a couple of SNES Classics in town because where we are at, we're lucky.
Yeah.
There's not quite as high of a demand for Nintendo stuff, which I really want to point out on top of that though, that when the Switch was released, we still didn't have Switches in stock. Like that Nintendo doesn't sell worth crap out here, but the Switch was just gone.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredible.
Right. What else could Nintendo have? Well, there is possible of talking more about DLCs for current games. Do you think any of the current releases could have any big DLCs? I mean,
Well, I think Breath of the Wild is done.
hmm.
Out of all of them, and that's just because they told us up front that we were going to have the 2 packs,
Mm-hmm.
and the first pack, as mediocre as it was, did happen. So we're down. We got to the other one, and Champion's Ballad, the way it ends, just kind of ties all the story itself together as best it can. Like it's sort of a long playable epilogue,
Mm-hmm.
that you have to do before technically you would do the final boss fight. But yeah, who cares? Continuity, what's that? Not my Zelda. But I don't think we'll have anything like that for like Breath of the Wild. I think we're gonna hear more about the Octo expansion for
Yeah.
Splatoon. Hopefully, a release date on that.
Oh,
Or did we already have?
Yeah,
one?
we got one. It's in July. July something.
Oh, okay.
I forgot
For
the
a
exact
second, I
day.
thought that they were gonna stall till August 8th.
Nah.
Come on, 8/8/18. Well, why not? But Like, I think we'll hear some more about the Octo expansion and stuff. You know what I want? I want
Hmm.
more Mario Kart DLC.
That'd be interesting, but like I feel like Mario Kart Deluxe is kind of at its end.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also already the deluxe version.
hmm What would really be the point?
Maybe a Mario Kart 9.
Can we play as German Nazis this time?
No, don't
Ah,
even make
Mario
that
Kart
joke. Oh my
9, come
god.
on. No, okay, fine.
But what about Odyssey? Do you think it's got any more room for any DLCs? Maybe some
I'm
new kingdoms?
I'm in this weird spot where like I feel like that they won't, but they're doing it. Like you see the costume DLC things pop up all the
Yes.
time. They're showing us new hiding spots for like not moons, but for what the little postcard screenshot ones
Yeah,
that you're supposed to
the
be finding.
the hint art.
There we go. That's what they are. They're showing us those all the time. And on top of that, if you collected all of the moons in Odyssey without like buying extras, we're still short moons of hitting the maximum 999.
Hmm.
Um, like just by default, and I feel like that those all those things point to it, even though in design of the game, I feel like it finishes like too well for it to do that. It even bookends itself. um because the very last moon in a bonus level is on this tall tower, like the very top of this tower, and on the very first moon that you get in the whole game is at the bottom of this rock pillar that is designed in shape just like the tower but the opposite direction. Like it kind of bookends itself with the two arrows pointing towards your moons.
Interesting.
And I feel like it ties itself up so well that I can't imagine it really having more, but that's also all on this weird assumption in my mind that they care about continuity, and Breath of the Wild already slapped that in the face really hard this year. If they do Mario Odyssey DLC, though, I think we all can kind of agree that we think it'll be something without Delfino
Hmm.
because it's on the world map.
Yeah.
It's tiny. It's off in the distance
I
a
would
little.
I would honestly love to go back there. It'd be great and just see all the piñas and
Yeah.
collect moons where old shines were.
What I'm actually kind of hoping that they do if they go for it is to reformat Isle Delfino a little bit so that way from Delfino Plaza they like pull a couple of hills back and give you access to certain areas from the game before that you could like reach Gelato Beach, just because where that is just off to the side and they just pulled a little bit of it back so you could actually reach that shoreline and go over there.
That
Stuff like that.
that would be interesting, but I just feel as though base Delfino is a pretty decent size as it is as well.
Yeah, it really depends how much they reimagine some of it. Because I mean, look at Peach's Castle. It's nothing like it was in its last game appearance too.
Yeah.
So they could do quite a bit in changing all of it. They could even make Delfino actually have multiple sections like that you have to go through like portals to.
But okay, but like imagine this, like you know how we got Peach's Castle, right? And it's like a tribute to Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
What if we got the other 3D Marios as kingdoms? Like we got Delfino Kingdom, we got a Galaxy Kingdom,
Oh, don't don't do that to me.
a Galaxy 2 Kingdom.
Stop! I
We
want
see
it too much.
Rosalina in there somewhere.
No, I
We go
need
we
it.
go to the planet where Mario's head.
Okay, I don't really care that much about that part, but I would love to see the Comet Observatory in true HD so
Hmm.
badly. Um, okay, in true HD, up close, fucking 3D world, flying bastard. It's there. It's fucking tiny, and I want to be on it. I want to walk around on it because it's my favorite hub world in like anything.
Hmm.
I really like the Comet Observatory. It has a weird way of tying everything together really nicely to me. Um, but now that sounds like a really interesting idea. It's the kind of stuff I would hope for. I actually kind of want to see what they do with like this is just an offhand thought. What if they do Paper Mario stuff?
Oh, new Paper Mario. Well,
Oh no, I was
Color
talking
Splash.
about
Oh, you mean
in
in
Odyssey as a
Odyssey?
DLC area.
That would definitely be
You just
interesting,
go
but
into it and it locks you in 2D control, and then you hit or whenever you capture a certain enemy, it flips it into 3D.
there's a lot of ideas that could be had. But with that, the only big one left I can imagine is or for Nintendo is their big main attraction this year, Super Smash Brothers. And let me just say, this is gonna be the most hype. This is the most hype thing for me this year.
Right? Like, the thing that, like, just to talk about it for a moment, I remember when it was announced, like, the moment it was announced, the first thing both of us did was you called me, you just went, dude, oh, dude, dude. And it's,
After like several months of people just like yelling Smash at every direct that came out, we finally got it. And
we kept throwing darts at it, seeing which one would stick.
I'm
Unfortunately, we were throwing Velcro darts at an actual dartboard.
surprising enough, we know nothing about this game, which is amazing, I think, because like in a time and age where everything's getting leaked nowadays, it's really refreshing to know that we know so little about something.
Right?
I
And
mean,
like the few Smash leaks we have are still like the kinds of leaks that don't seem quite there. You know?
mm-hmm.
Like something about each one seems a little off. So it's refreshing as shit just to see that we're not getting everything announced that way.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think they're gonna do for the title?
Title. You know, a while ago, one of them popped into my head and I've already forgot. I mean, I can always hope for gentlemanly debate. Um, the best Smash Brothers title of all. There's also Shrek Off. Let's do it. Smash Bros. Shrek Off.
Mm,
Nah, Smash Brothers Rumble or Smash World are my thoughts actually.
I could actually see them doing a Sonic 06 and just leaving it as Super Smash Bros.
Fucking, that's some
I'm
dad
sorry.
of boy shit.
Dad of Boy is a great name.
There's a reason I can't call it it's by its actual name. It's because otherwise I have to be like all God of War 2018 or God of War PS4. Like no. And I really hate it when companies do that, but honestly, I would believe them that they would do it this time.
Mm.
Though honestly, they could just sell the game by just calling it Smashed. We don't have to have the Super Bros parts. Just you could get away with just Smash, and people.
What do you think of the invitational roster that we have, if you've seen that?
I looked at it. I honestly don't remember very well. I think I remember seeing Zero and Hungry Box.
No, Hungry Box isn't going to be in this one.
Oh, it was Mango.
Yes, we
I
got
got
some
them
really
confused.
good ones in here. We got like people like MKLeo, Mango, Armada, like a lot of players from Melee and Smash 4. So this is gonna be interesting to see what kind of game uh, this new Smash Bros is gonna be.
They actually did confirm that they haven't had their hands on it at all. That they're not going to have their hands on it until they're on the stage.
So,
So we're
what
gonna
we
have to
see
watch
is gonna be
Zero
fresh
and,
for everyone.
Right, and that just means that if Zero still manages to win this one like he did last year, we'd be like, well, that's some skill. You know, like that takes me back to the last time they did the Invitational, and like I remember Zero winning, and I remember like at the time I did not like this guy like at all. Just somewhat something about him pissed me off looking at him. But over time, I've just grown to really adore Zero. Like he's such a nice dude. He's such a chill guy.
He's a really cool guy, yeah. But
He streams like all the time now, just everything, not just Smash. He's retired.
using the previous invitation as an example, like I can expect major hype just from that alone. I mean, like that last Smash is where we got the Super Fighting Robot Mega Man. If we get more like that, that would be great. But the thing that makes Smash more than anything is its characters.
Yeah.
What characters do you think we can see at E3 and during the Invitational? Like, what are they going to use for their roster and any special reveals we can expect?
Well, like I have a whole list of my dream characters and shit. Out of everything, I really want Labo Man. But I know that's not happening for real, just at least not now. Like, out of everything, though, the only character that I am positive is getting in this game is Rex from
Really? You
Xenoblade
think
2.
so?
It's the only other game that Sakurai has talked about at all in the last year online. He talks heavily about Xenoblade 2. Like, when he was playing it, he loves it. He
Mm-hmm.
loves both of the Xenoblade games. Like, I think I remember showing you that one really cool replica Monado picture once.
Mm-hmm.
That's Sakurai's. He owns that. He commissioned it himself to have. He loves the Xenoblade games, and I think if he's the man that thinks up these characters and these move sets and all this stuff, he probably thought about how he could make a Rex move set work
Well, do you
and
think
could
it
throw
would?
that
Do
in.
you think it would just be Rex, or do you think Pyro would be thrown in with him?
I think that if he's gonna adapt how Xenoblade 2 works, that Rex would have three different blades. Um, so Pyra probably either Pyra or Mithra. More than likely Pyra because she's the one that we saw in all the promotional materials. So like that would only make sense. It's the same reason why Shulk's Monado is only in level 1.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think we would have Pyra, and we'd probably have two of the other blades set up. I can dream that one of them would be Cosmos, so we could have Cosmos in a freaking Smash Brothers game somehow. But I really don't know which ones of the blades that he could give to Rex for the other two. One that comes to mind would be Ursula, who is it's a lily with a big polar bear.
Mm-hmm.
She sits on the polar bear's back, and the polar bear's weapon is like these claws. It's literally his own claws, and like they just for blade arts they throw the blade back to or they throw the weapon back to the blade.
Uh-huh.
That's such a weird way to have to. But they throw the weapon back to the blade, and the blade does something, and I can actually imagine that being a core part of the move set. Because the way Xenoblade 2's combat works is you'll have your regular character, your driver, Rex, up front on the battlefield doing his thing, and the blade will be further back with this little energy to like tether over to their driver,
Yeah.
giving them energy, powering up their weapon. And blade arts work by tossing the sword back to Pyra, and she does a special attack with it, and that's the same kind of rule for all of them. And I think the blade arts might be something that they build up to, and then when kind of like with Cloud's Limit, except it's individual for every move that involves a different blade.
Mm-hmm.
So it would build up and that, or as you go, and then it would overwrite whatever move. So if Pyra's blade attack was, for example, the side B, say it's just like backslash for some reason,
Yeah.
that maneuver would build up until it would get to her blade art. Then when you'd hit your side B, you'd call Pyra up to the front, and she would do the little blade spin attack that she does.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you see in regards to Xenoblade 2 and Rex, I'm a little skeptical on him getting in just because of the fact what how Sakurai does his characters and whatnot. It's all done on his project plan, which is done at the very beginning of development. Now, if we were to assume that this started at like a month after he took his break, so like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
If this started like late 2016, early 2017,
Then he wouldn't be at Rex by now.
it could very well be that Rex and Pyra might have not have existed. Though it could be that he could have added them at the last second, but it's definitely something to keep in mind that the
Yeah.
second Xenoblade character might, instead of Rex and Pyra, could be Elma from
That's a good point.
X.
I keep forgetting that Xenoblade X has characters.
Yes, it
Not
does.
gonna lie. Well, because it's just a game where everything like that feels like it takes a massive backseat to Breath of the Wild style exploring,
Mm.
And I tend to forget that Elma's there, but I would actually really be down to see Elma be playable that way. I feel like I could have a lot of fun with any given Xenoblade character.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I argue for Rex more is because of basically the situation like Greninja was in, where like Greninja was a design that was shown to Sakurai at some point well before they were really working hard on Gen 6, like getting the actual mechanical development stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, I like that, I'm using it. Wait, what?
Exactly.
I'm totally using it. You're serious, Sakurai? Yes. Don't ever ask me for anything ever again. But what about Gen 3 Pokemon? Don't ever ask me Nah, I feel like he was probably shown Rex and Pyro's designs early on, and like he was really thrilled with Xenoblade 2 when he got to talking about it a bit. And I feel like he probably saw this early and thought, I would love to try and put these in here. How do they work? And he might have taken that time.
That's an interesting point.
So I don't rule them out, but Elma is the one that's slightly more believable too. I'll give you that.
If we were to get one new Mario character, because we usually get a new Mario character, but if we were to get one, who do you think it's gonna be? Because I feel like that would be an interesting reveal.
I know what you want me to say, sir, but I can't.
No,
I can't do it.
You don't know what I want you to say.
No, it's Ashley. We're gonna get
No,
Ashley.
that's a WarioWare character. That's completely different.
Dixie Kong.
No, please, just say it. There's other options, you know.
I know. I couldn't help it. You're thinking Waluigi.
Actually, I was thinking Captain Toad.
Wow.
Either or.
Well, that's just as bad. I'm kidding. I actually think Captain Toad would be really interesting. Especially if we go off what the Game Explain video guys had for a moveset.
Yeah, they did really good at that.
They thought that out pretty hard.
Also, how dare you? Waluigi has just as much as a chance as everyone else.
I mean, this is true. Didn't I say exactly that before?
No, you didn't.
I thought I did in my other video. Or what is it just that I said Master Chief?
You said Master Chief, which I also disagree with.
I do too, to be honest with you. No, it was just my example of a character that, like, we could all think that would make no sense, but in all honesty, it's a gaming icon, and if Sakurai was asked and he felt like it,
yeah,
if he had actually had a really good coffee that morning,
I wouldn't be happy about it, though.
Yeah, fine, why not? But honestly, it just wouldn't be anywhere near as good as, like, Snake.
Who do you think will be, if we do get third parties, who do you think will be the big third party reveal? Because Mega Man was the one that really drew everything together last time, and and before that, Snake was the one that did it. It's got to be somebody entirely impactful that'll make people go, "Oh my God, this character got in! I have to get this game!"
Right. Although, just to go off on a quick tangent with that, the Mega Man trailer for Smash 4 is still the video to this day that I use to check the TV quality for any, like, new TV or screen device I get.
It is, like, a beautiful
it's the first
trailer.
thing I do. I go to watch it on YouTube for whatever I get. And once they have Switch YouTube, that's what I'm going to watch there, too. But, like, when I got my phone, the first thing I did with it when I had access to YouTube was I went to YouTube and I typed in Mega Man Smash 4. I have to watch it. It's just the thing that I use now.
It is a wonderful trailer.
It is so hype, and I want something like that. But the truth be told is I haven't put a lot of thought into my third-party options. Like, I still think Lloyd is really likely. But at the same time, Lloyd doesn't have that kind of impact,
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does for the niche chunk of people that would recognize it, but it's not like with Cloud where people were floored. Just like, holy crap, it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they're gonna go that route, the only two characters that I can think of that would really have the same kind of impact are Spyro and Crash. Either or. But I don't see that at the same time. But then again, I didn't see Cloud at all. So.
I would like to bring up that I think there are just as many other third party iconic characters that would make sense left. Rayman, I think he's fairly iconic as far as platformers go.
We also already have a model for him.
Exactly.
Because Ubisoft sent him that model for the trophy. That is my favorite piece of Smash trivia now.
Yeah. Bomberman, he is super huge. Well, like not as huge as Mario, but I'd say he's a B tier icon at the very least. And even though he is owned by Konami right now, and Konami is Konami.
Insert hashtag.
But Bomberman has been very good to the Switch and Nintendo as a whole. So, like those are just two examples off the top of my head of like good recognizable third party characters that would make I believe would make an impact.
Yeah. If I'm gonna have one from the leaks, somebody that I could actually see being revealed in a very similar vein to Mega Man, like an almost identical way of showing him. I think we could get a Belmont from Castlevania, like get ourselves a Belmont. And I feel like it would seriously be almost identical. We'd have some kind of announcement flare, and all the characters look back to the moonlight, and then you just hear whoosh, and Simon or something.
Yeah,
But
I would
that's
like
the
Simon
only
too.
problem with it for me is that I can't tell you what Belmont they would pick or why.
I think it'd have to be Simon. I mean, that's my just personal opinion, but I feel like Simon is like he's the original guy. He's easily recognizable. I mean, maybe not as much as Alucard, but like
Yeah.
he's been on Nintendo like several times, and he's one of the innovators of the genre Metroidvania.
Yeah. Well, not so much Simon as it is with Alucard and Soma. But there's my other thought. It could be Soma. Soma Cruz from the Game Boy Advance and DS games, which I feel like
Hmm.
that lines up a little better to how Nintendo might look at it. But then again, they picked Snake before, so I could believe that they would go with Alucard
Also,
too.
to be fair, Snake was a request personally from Kojima.
Yeah, this is for his son. That's adorable. Like really, I love that. But I I could see any given Castlevania rep, but I think that a Castlevania character has the kind of impact that we would be looking for here. I just don't know who.
Mm. Who do you think will be our WTF character this time? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Kind of like how Duck Hunt was.
No, no,
No.
no. Duck Hunt is a retro character. See, in every game, every Smash game since Melee, we've gotten a retro character and a WTF character, a la Game and Watch, Rob, We Fit
Wario.
Trainer.
No. I was gonna say Wario.
No,
Oh.
Wario makes sense.
Only in this context can we confidently say the phrase Wario makes sense.
Personally, I would want like, for example, I believe that your WTF character would be Labo Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I think that a good WTF character would be Cooking Mama. She's been on Nintendo forever. She's just out there enough to fit right in.
You know what? Screw it. Give me Phoenix right.
Well,
No, wait, no,
you're gonna
don't
have to
give
talk
me
to
Phoenix.
Capcom
Give
about
me
that.
Maya. Specifically, give me Maya. Don't even bother with Phoenix. He doesn't have to be here. It just has to be Maya, and her power is channeling other characters that have died on this stage.
The retro character could very well be Takamaru this time.
I would buy it. I hold out some hope for Mike Jones, of Star Tropics fame, or rather Star Tropics anonymity. However you're supposed to say that word. I've never had to use the word vocally. I've only ever had to spell it. I can't spell it either. It's like necessary, you know. It doesn't stick in your head correctly sometimes. You're trying to spell it.
Yeah. Well, besides characters, do you think they'll show off any new stages and or game modes?
This one I got notes for. Because like, okay, before I even go to it, I miss Smash Run.
Smash Run was one of the fun ones, I agree.
I want them to bring Smash Run back, but you know what's really gonna happen?
Hmm.
Smash Tour 2.0. Everyone's in a car now, and that's why Sonic Drift sucks. I honestly, I hope they don't bring back Smash Tour. Like, it was a fun novelty idea, but I think that's what they'll do.
I think they'll think of something new because they think of something new for each one, something different.
True. Can we have board the platforms back as like a versus mode where like platforms are falling down and it's the challenge of versus to see how long we all stay on it?
I'll sacrifice that to get a proper target smash back.
This is true. We just what's with this bombs thing?
I don't know. They wanted to try something different.
Well, it was just as much of a bomb as the bomb we used to blow up the targets. That's mean. It's not that bad. I actually really like it still. But um nah, as far as stages go though, I've had a lot of thoughts. Like we all kind of think about a Mario Odyssey tour stage.
Mm-hmm.
Um which would be the only roaming stage I could ever think of that would actually fly up and out into a separate loading zone and go to a new area. Like to do the flying over it still with.
Yeah.
Kind of like Delfino Plaza, just longer. But a lot of people keep suggesting that same kind of thing for Breath of the Wild, and I don't think that's what they do for Breath of the Wild. As much as that is, a lot of Hyrule is still open fields. It would be, honest to God, interesting, but boring as fuck to just have as a background flying over. Like we would be flying really fast around a lot of empty space to get to the few landmarks that are really interesting that way.
They could very well pull the Fire Emblem stage and do a transitioning type of deal between the Divine Beasts.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. That's why I have it as that on my notes. Thank you. Well, because I was just thinking more and more of what could we do around that idea, and the backs of the Divine Beasts or the inside of every given one warping into different places could be great. Specifically, I can imagine the starting of it would be like on, or the start of it would warp you into the chamber where you fight the boss inside Varuta, which is just this big kind of ballroom looking chamber in a way, at first. And then to see the from the Sheikah Slate warp you out into the next place, and it drops you onto the back of Va Meadow, the bird, and you're fighting on that while the boss is in the background somewhere. I hope it's only in the background. Can we not bring back stage bosses? Or at least, please, for the love of God, give me a toggle switch.
Toggle would be great.
Because if I can turn them off, I'm fine with them here. Because sometimes I like beating metal faces face up. That's fun. But other times I'm trying to beat up my friends. And I'm sorry, but I can't punch somebody in the face correctly while Ridley's floating above me. Unless Ridley is a playable character, in which case I will take back that entire last chunk of that sentence. But I could see Breath of the Wild being like that, and doing different divine beasts, ending with a section at Hyrule Castle, with guardians all in the background and shit. I feel like that's a better tribute to what you do in Breath of the Wild than the roaming stage for it, even though, gliding around Hyrule Field makes a lot of sense just for the way the game is, too.
Yeah.
It's just that Odyssey would already be doing that, really, realistically. Either that or they just have individual stages for it, which I'm equally fine with just a Metro Kingdom stage.
Yeah, I think if out of all the kingdoms, the Metro Kingdom would be the most.
Yeah, well, it's the one that they did for Captain Toad, so... Yeah. Oh, actually, Captain Toad has a few, but...
And we are guaranteed a Splatoon stage. Well, a lot of people think that it's definitely going to be Inkopolis Square, which I could see that too. I think they're just as likely to go to a little bit more interesting stage, like maybe one of the popular arenas to fight in, like the skate park one, the halfback pump track or something.
I don't even remember what the hell the names are for some of these. The only one that I can remember is Walleye Warehouse, and it's because I miss Walleye Warehouse now, which is really weird because it's the only stage that I miss from Splatoon 1, but I hated it when I was in Splatoon 1. I agree that I think it would actually be Inkopolis this time around. And I think that the background of it would alternate, kind of like what the Animal Crossing stages did, where at certain times of day you would have different performances or different things going on. Like just regular daytime, it's daytime Inkopolis. But on random days, or maybe simultaneously at the time frames when an actual Splatfest is happening, we could have, say, the Squid Sisters or Off the Hook just sitting in the background doing their songs or whatever, and have a billboard displaying what the Splatfest that's going on in Splatoon is right now, doing cross-promotional stuff.
That'd be really cool. It'd kind of be like seeing KK Slider in Smashville.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking from it. Is just that they could pull that off, and especially if they timed it with the actual Splatfest events going on, you'd get this cross-promotion stuff going, and it'd be a good way to kind of poke at both games really well. But I could also see them doing a stage on the last level of Splatoon 1 or 2 where you're fighting DJ Octavio, where he's got this big UFO ship that he's in,
Yeah.
and I could see you legit fighting on top of his his ship. You know, and it flies around through the various levels that way.
Yeah, I
Like,
see
I could
that.
see that being fun and something they would totally do. I can hope for stuff like that. You know what I want to come back, though? Adventure mode.
Yeah, maybe enough time has passed since Smash 4 and Sakurai realizes that things getting on the internet is inevitable and it doesn't necessarily take away from the experience because those who seek it out want to seek it out. So maybe like I'd even be okay if it just went back to Melee's adventure mode
Right?
because that
That's
was
what
still
most,
really fun.
I think that's what most of us kind of want, to be honest. Like, just a sort of arcadey goodness, but testing the platformy functions of Smash, you know?
But if we got another subspace, I wouldn't complain. I would still love it regardless.
I would love Subspace Emissary, the RPG. Come on. Like, make it almost like an RPG where we've got actual text box dialogue and really have the characters interact. Because that's what made Subspace for me.
You can't
Was
let
getting
Link
to see.
speak.
He doesn't have to. That's the beauty of it.
No,
I mean,
even
we
with
already
text
have
box.
Hyrule Warriors that showed us how we had character, or how we could have Link talk without talking. He had a fairy. They're not going to do that here, but like to have Link with another character that can talk, or just have Link like communicate either in gestures or he doesn't communicate at all, and he just walks away half the time, and people are just like, what are you doing? And then you just hear, and it's like, oh, he found a secret passage.
And,
Huh.
and Marth still speaks in Japanese even in his text box.
I would laugh, but I don't think they would do that with that one. But I would love it. Nah, but no, you know what would be better if Roy did that. Because we didn't get Roy's game. If Roy was brought back for any reason like that, I would want it to where Marth still speaks normally because we did get a copy of his game and he's shown up in other things in the DLC stuff. But Roy has never spoken English over here other than in Fire Emblem Heroes. So we just have Marth translating for Roy. And they're just like, what is he speaking? It's some ancient language called Japanese.
But
We have covered a lot of info today.
yeah, I think that covers everything that we wanted to talk about though.
A little bit. I got a couple of things left.
What do you got?
Well, for one, I really want this game to have its own fucking soundtrack. Smash to have its own soundtrack and not mostly Brawl. Because if you noticed last time around, most of it was Brawl's soundtrack. But like on characters still, like I'm still thinking like we could have some other newcomers. Like I still want Shovel Knight and Shantae. In fact, you know what? I take it all back. Shovel Knight has the kind of impact that they could reveal at E3, like Mega Man.
But see, the only problem with that is Shovel Knight's not as popular in Japan as he is here.
This is true.
Smash is a worldwide phenomenon. It's got to be somebody who affects everyone.
Well, I mean, I also can hope for Midna or Impa, like specifically Hyrule Warriors style Impa, or Lana from Hyrule Warriors as well.
That would be interesting, though. I'm not sure if they'd add a spin-off character.
Yeah. Tingle for Smash.
Tingle for Smash.
Tingle for Smash. Yeah. But honestly, I think that is all I got. Like, I think we'll probably get like a Fire Emblem tease character. Just because Nintendo's like, oh yeah, we got Fire Emblem to happen because of Smash last time over in the West, right? Yeah, we should do that again. Yeah. And it's just like, nobody's gonna tell Sakurai to stop.
Yeah.
Like, nobody tells Miyamoto to stop. Okay, I stand corrected. Koizumi has told Miyamoto to stop, and Miyamoto said, no! And carried on. So, but I think that's all we got for now.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on your channel.
Yeah. Thank you for joining. This road to E3 is gonna suck. And then we're gonna get to E3 and it's gonna be hype as fuck. Hey, those rhymed. And then we're gonna be back after E3. And the time is just going to crawl.
Well, at least you can guarantee a whole at least month and a half of looking over every single trailer and analyzing every little piece of information we got.
Oh yeah, I especially have to do. We have to go back and double check Devolver Digital's announcements and stuff, and we have to rewatch those films, those glorious films of Devolver Digital's cinematic universe. I hope for some really great shit though, because like this is a discussion alone that has caused some extra hype for me. Because I'm hoping for great news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that this year, especially just in Nintendo's part, that we get so much great information that we're gonna freak out again, just like we did last time. I'm really holding out some hope for that. For a network test for Smash too, and some good news for the freaking online service.
For now, all we can do is wait another 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. You can hear the sand in the hourglass. Well, until next time then. Have fun everybody. Keep that high score in your initials for me.